Hello, I'm Swati Verma, Assistant Professor in Chhattisgarh Swami Vivekanand Technical University, CSVT Bhilai. I welcome you all to the course on Industrial Automation and Drive. Today, we will begin with our 11th lecture on PLC programming. Today, till now, we have seen the internal structure of Programmable Logic Controller (PLC) that contains input modules or having its two types with the digital type or the analog type. We have also covered the output module with its type analog or and digital type, the power supply unit and also the central processing unit that you have clearly seen in the diagram. There is one more important part of the programmable logic controller, which is a programming device through which we can program our programmable logic controller. That is obviously a personal computer or a laptop. In the computers, we are using specific software to program our programming logic controllers. So, PLC operation not only require the hardware part, but it requires the software part also for its programming. In addition to the hardware part, study of the software part is also very important to learn in deep about the PLC. In the present time, there are lots of PLC manufacturing companies that are available in the market. For example, first is the Siemens, the Allen Bradley with Rockwell Automation, Mitsubishi Electric, Schneider Electric, Omron, ABB, Delta Electronics. They made different version of PLC with specific compatible programming softwares. For example, for Siemens PLC, we are using TIA Portal, Totally Integrated Automation Portal, and a Step 7 software. Whereas for Allen Bradley Rockwell Automation, we are using RS Logix 5000, now known as Studio 5000 software. For Mitsubishi Electric, we are using GS Works 2, GS Works 3, GX developer software. For Schneider Electric, we are using EcoStruxure Control Expert, formerly known as the Unity Pro software. Whereas for the Omron manufacturers, we are using the CS programmers and the Sysmex Studio software. While for ABB, we are using Automation Builder software, and for the Delta Electronics, we are using ISP software. After hearing this, a question might have arisen in your mind that how we are going to learn different software for this different type of PLCs, or in which language we are going to program in our software for the PLC operation. For example, either we are using the C, C++ or Python. But it's not like that, because even when the manufacturers are different, they are the different softwares, but the fundamental concepts of PLC programming is common to all. But maybe the differences lies in the memory organization, the input-output addressing, or the instruction set only. But the logical operation or the logical concept would be the same. So you don't have to worry about that, okay? So let's start with the PLC programming languages. The PLC programming languages are standardized under the IEC 61131-3 standard, which defines the 5 main types of programming languages. This language offers different types for the programming PLCs, catering to the various levels of complexity and the user preference. Here are the 5 main types. First is the ladder diagram called as KCLD. Second is the function block diagram called as FBD. Third is the structured test called as ST. Fourth is the instruction list called as IL. Fifth is the sequential functional chart SFC. Our first study in the goes in detail with the ladder diagram LD. The ladder diagram is a graphical programming language which resembles the electrical relay logic diagrams. Means it is similar to the electrical relay logic diagrams which we have studied in the electrical systems. It uses the symbols like the contact and the coils to represent the basic logical operations. It is widely used for the discrete control and the simple automation task. which is especially used in the industries familiar with the traditional relay control. The next type is the functional block diagram FBD. It is a type of graphical language which represents both function and the function blocks as interconnected blocks. Here in the functional block diagram, each block performs a specific function and data flows between these blocks. Suitable for the continuous control processes and the complex logical operations, it is mainly used in the process control industries. Now, third type is the structured test ST. The structured test ST is a high-level textual programming language which is similar to the Pascal. It uses the statements and control structures like the if, while, and case statements for its programming. It is ideal for complex mathematical calculations, algorithms, and the data manipulation. Mainly, the structured test programming language is extensive and a complex logic is required for its programming. Next is the instruction list. It is a low-level textual programming language and it is similar to the assembly language programming. It consists of a series of instructions which are executed in a sequential manner. It is mainly useful for the simple, low-level control tasks, though it is less commonly used because it has complexity in its nature and it also not user-friendly, and also due to the availability of the more user-friendly languages nowadays, it is less commonly used. Now, the sequential function chart language. The sequential function chart SFC is a graphical programming language which is used to design the sequential control systems. It represents the control processes as a series of steps and the transitions. It is ideal for the processes that require the sequential operations such as the batch processing or the machine cycles. Okay, so now let's talk about the processor memory organization. Like I have explained earlier, there are many types of manufacturer softwares available, but for this I will pick an example of Allen Bradley PLC SL6500 family series to explain you about the processor memory organization. Here we will take an example of Allen Bradley PLC, which have two different memory structures which are identified generally by the two terms, either the rack-based systems and the tag-based systems. The SLC 500 family of controllers uses a rack-based fixed memory structure. The memory organization in a PLC mainly involves dividing the available memory into various different sections. These sections can be either broadly categorized in two types. First is the program files and second is the data files, as you can clearly see in the given diagram. The specific structure, order and length of these sections can vary depending upon the PLC manufacturer and model, and they may be either fixed or variable type. Now let's go in detail about the program files. The program files store the user ladder logic program which accounts for most of the programmable logic controller memory. This logic, formatted as ladder diagrams, consists of instructions that control the machine operations, with most of the instructions requiring one word of memory. The program files include mainly the system functions, which is designated by file 0, the reserve files designated by file 1, the main ladder diagram designated by file 2, and the subroutine ladder programs designated by files 3 to 225. Here each file serves the specific roles in the controller operation. Mainly the program memory ranges from 0 to 225. But initially it starts from the ladder 2 as clearly shown in the figure. Here the data files are divided into 0 to 255 bits, where first 0 slot is designated to output file, 1 is for the input file, second slot is designated to the status file, 3 is for the bit file, 4 is for the timer file, 5 designated for the counter file, the 6 is designated for the control file, the 7th is designated to the integer file, while 8 is designated to the floating point file, while rest of the 9 to 255 slots is designated to the user defined. Here the B stands for the bit, T for the timer, C for the counter, R for the control, N for the integer, F for the floating point, ST stands for the string, and A for the ASCII. Similarly, the program files is also divided into 0 to 255 slots, where slot 0 is for the system file 0, 1 is for the system file 1, 2 is for the program file 2, while rest of the 3 to 255 is designated to the program files. Okay, here the slot 0, 1, 2 are the main program, while the 3 to 255 is the subroutine program. So in the figure here we can see clearly the program and the data file organization for the SLC 500 controller. The specific structure, order and length of these sections can vary depending on the PLC's manufacturer and model, as they may be either fixed or the variable. The program files stores the user ladder logic program, which accounts for most of the PLC memory. This logic, formatted as ladder diagrams, consists of instructions that control the machine operations, with most of the instructions requiring one word of memory. The program files include system functions in the file 0, the reserved files as file 1, the main ladder program as file 2, and the subroutine ladder programs as file 3 to 255. Here each file serves a specific or important role in the PLC controller operation. Now the program memory range. The program memory ranges from 0 to 255, but initially it starts from ladder 2, as you can see in the figure, because the 0 and 1 is used for the internal system of the PLC. So we are left with the 254, so we will address ladder 2 to 255 for the program memory. Next is the data files. The data files store the information necessary for executing the user program, such as the status of input and output devices, timer and counter values, and the other data. The contents of the data files are divided into status data and the numerical or coded information. The status data can be represented by ones and zeros, which indicates the on-off states, or either you can say the high or the low states. And it is stored in a unique bit location, where numerical or code information is stored in the byte or any word location. Now comes for the digital addressing for the binary. Here you can see the format for the binary addressing. First is the B3, which is called as the designator, then the colon, the word number slash the bit number. Okay, for example, you can see here B3 colon 0 slash 0 to B3 colon 0 slash 15. Okay, which ranges to the B3 colon 255 slash 0 to B3 colon 255 slash 15. As in the word number, we can range from 0 to 255, and bit number can ranges from 0 to 15. Binary addressing can ranges from B3 colon 0 slash 0 to B3 colon 0 slash 15, then from 1 slash 0 to 1 slash 15 to the B3 colon 255 slash 0 to B3 colon 255/15. Similarly, for the timer addressing, the format will be file number, colon, word number. Okay, so for example, T4 colon 0 to T4 colon 255. This is a simple format for the timer addressing. Timer addressing, as we have seen in the figure, timer has the designated by the T4. So the addressing will be ranged from T4 colon 0 to 255. Okay. Next is the counter addressing. Similar to the timer, its format is file number colon word number. But the counter is addressed by the C5. So the counter addressing ranges from C5 colon 0 to C5 colon 255. Okay. The same addressing format is for the control, integer and float, which stands for where the word number varies from 0 to 255, while the designator for the control is R6, for the integer it is N7 and for the float it is F8. Okay. Next, for the SLC 500 controller, the program files include the essential system functions, which are reserved sections, the main ladder program and the subroutine program. Here, the data files are organized by the data type, which includes the output, input, status, bit, timer, counter, controller, integer and the float type for float files, which we have seen earlier in the diagram. The input output address format consists of three parts. First, the input or output identification. Second, the module slot number, and third is screw terminal number. The input image table file records the status of the connected discrete inputs, which are updating during the input-output scan phase. For example, if input is detected, its corresponding bit is set to the 1, and if the input is not detected, the corresponding input is set to 0, as can be clearly seen in the figure. In the software, you can see the data file structure similar like you have seen here in the diagram. Here the first is for the cross reference, second O0 is for the output, I1 is designated for the input, S2 is designated for the status, B3 is designated to the binary, T4 is designated to the timer, C5 is designated to the counter, R6 is designated to the control, N7 is designated to the integer, while the F8 is designated to the float. Okay. Next is the input address format for the SLC family of PLC. Here, as I have explained you, the first is the type of input, whether it's input or output. Second is the separator. Third is the slot number. Fourth is the bit designator, and third last is the bit number. As you can clearly see in the diagram, here the I stands for the input while the O stands for the output. Here separator, we are using the colon as a separator. Okay. Next is the slot number in which it is connected. The slot here the 1, or here in the output the 2 is the slot number. Next is the bit designator. The slash is used to designate the bit number. Here in the input you can see I:1/2. So here the 2 is the bit number, and here you can see in the output format O:2/11. Here 11 is the bit number. Let's take an example of SLC 500 controller AB PLC for addressing, which are generally available in the 4 slot, 7 slot, 10 slot and 13 slot rack. The distal addressing is denoted by the file type, :slot number, .word number, /bit number. Okay, a word, as you know, is consists of 16 bit, and where 1 byte is equal to 8 bit. Let's take an example of 4 slot rack. Okay, Here the first rack is designated for the power supply, the second rack is for the CPU, third is for the 16-bit digital input, and last is for the 16-bit digital output. So for the digital input addressing, you can see here I colon, since this is a digital input, we will assign it I, colon is the separator, 1, since it is connected to the first rack or the first section of your slot, it is called as 1, dot, then the 0, since we are using the first word, slash 0. It ranges from I colon 1 dot 0 slash 15, since we have to address 16 digital input address. Similarly, as you can see, for addressing the 16 digital output address, the format will start from the O, since it is an output, colon 2, since here the digital output is connected to the second slot, dot, here the slot number we have written is the slot number. Here the DI is connected to the first slot number, so 1, but the output is connected to the second slot number, so here we have used the 2. Okay, so for the output 0 colon 2 dot 0 slash 0, which ranges to 0 colon 2 dot 0 slash 50. So by this way we can address the 16 digital input and the 16 digital output. Here in the next figure you can see the actual software of RS Logic's input table. Okay, in the coming classes we will cover how to do the PLC programming in the real software. Okay, so we will discuss in the coming lectures. Okay, let's take a next example of 7-slot rack. Generally in the 7-slot rack, the first slot is designated to the power supply, second is for the CPU, 16, for example, we are taking the first slot number is for the 16-bit digital input, second is for the 16-bit digital output, third is for the 12-bit digital input and 20-bit digital output, fourth slot number is for the 32-bit digital input, and fifth is for the 32-bit digital output. We have just taken a simple reference for the example. Let's just take an example how we can address the slot 1 and 2 for the digital input and digital output, like we have done in the previous example. Okay, so for the 16 in digital input, it's simple. I colon 1 dot 0 slash 0 to I colon 1 dot 0 slash 15. Okay, and for the 16 digital output for the second slot, we can, how it can be addressed, like the similar we have did, 0 colon 2 dot 0 slash 0 to 0 colon 2 dot 0 slash 15. So like this way we can address the 16 digital input and output. Okay, I think this is clear for you. So next here comes up for the third slot for the 12 digital input and 20 digital output. Okay, so for the 12 digital input, we can address the input as I colon 3, since it is connected to the third slot, so dot 0 slash 0. So to address the 12 address, the range will be lies to the I colon 3 dot 0 slash 11. So like this ranges from slash 0 to slash 11, we can address 12 digital input. Okay, similarly for the 20 digital output, what would be the addressing? So similarly, since it is an output, the output will be designated by O, colon, since it is connected to the third slot, it will be 3 dot, word number will be 0 slash 0. Okay, it will start from 0 colon 3 dot 0 slash 0 and it will go to 0 colon 3 dot 0 slash 15. Since in a word we will have 16 bits, so it will range from 0 slash 0 to 0 slash 15. So now by this we have addressed total 16 output, digital output, but there are 4 left. So to address the 4 left digital outputs, we will pick the second word. So to address the second word, what will be the addressing format? It will be 0:3.1/0, 1/1, 1/2, and end up to 1/3. So total of this will cover our 20 digital output addressing, which will start from 0:3.0/0 and will end up to 0:3.1/3. Since in a world we only have 16 bits, so to cover the 4 remaining bits for 20 digital output, we have to take second word, okay, and we have to take 4 bits of our second word. Okay, I think this is clear to you. Next is to address the 4th and 5th slot having 32 digital inputs and 32 digital outputs. So similarly, like we did for the 16 digital inputs, here we will take 2 words to address the 32 digital inputs. Means we will start, what will be the addressing? You can try for you can also try. First it will start with the I colon, since it is the 4th slot, so it will be 4.0/0 and it will go up to 0/15. So by this we will cover 16 digital input, and for the next 16 digital inputs for slot 4, we will take second word. Okay, how will we address that? It will be I:3.1/0 to 1/15. So like this, by taking the 2 words, we can cover the 32 digital input addressing for slot 4. Similarly, for the slot 5, the addressing will be O colon, since the slot is 5, so it will be O:5.0/0 to 0/15, and for the next 16 it will be O:5.1/0 to 1/15. So like this, we can cover the 32 digital output operation. So it is, I think it's clear to you, the format is same, the file type, whether it is output or input, I stands for input, O stands for output, okay. Then the separator colon, slot number, which slot number it is connected, then dot, the separator, then the word number and the bit number. In one word, we will have the 16 bit and the bit number can ranges from 0 to 7 or the 8 bit, okay. Now let's take in third example. Sometimes the word does not mention in the address, as you can clearly see in the figure. Here the output is connected to the slot 4 and the 6th bit position, and you can see the input is connected to the slot 3 and the 12th bit position. So the address will be I:3/12 for the input file, and similarly you can check the output line. Your output is connected to the 4th slot but in the 6th bit position. So what will be the addressing for the output? It will be 0:4/6. Okay, this is the format for an Allen Bradley SLC 500 controller. Okay, now here comes the fourth example. Here you can clearly see in the figure there are 2 input switches. Okay, they are connected, which are connected to the slot 1 and slot 4 from the first rack. So what will be the addressing for the 2 inputs? It will be I:1/1, and for the second input it will be I:1/4. Here you can also see the output, it is connected to the first bit, okay, slot 1 of the second rack. So what will be the addressing of the output? It will be O:2/1, since it is connected to the second rack but from the first slot. Okay, I think it's all clear to you how we can do the addressing. Now let's talk about the program scan cycle. When a PLC executes a program, it must continuously monitor the external devices to track the changes in the real time. This process is called program scan cycle, which includes reading all the inputs, updating the input table, processing the program logic, and updating the output table accordingly. This cycle consists of 4 phases, which includes input scan, program scan, output scan, and the housekeeping duties. The cycle repeats as long as the PLC is in the run mode, which ensures the constant monitoring and control operation. The time taken by the PLC to complete a scan cycle is known as the scan cycle time, indicates how quickly the PLC controller can respond to any input change. The typical scan time ranges from 1 to 20 milliseconds. If an input changes faster than the scan time, the PLC might not be able to detect the input change. The scan time mainly depends on the processor speed, the length of the program, the types of instructions used in the program, and also on the logic conditions. During the scan process, the PLC performs several tasks for each rung of the ladder logic. It examines the status of input image table bits, evaluates the ladder logic for logic continuity. It updates the output image table bits if necessary according to the logic condition, and then it applies the output status to the actual output terminals. This ensures that each input and output is accurately represented in the memory. Here you can see clearly in the figure about the PLC scan. Here, next is a logical continuity in a PLC program, which is similar to the electrical continuity in the hardware circuits. When there is a continuous path of true conditions in a rung, means if all the conditions are met, then the output instruction is set to true, and also the status bit will be turned on. The PLC evaluates each rung based on the preceding rung condition, setting the basically output condition. The scan process can be summarized in 3 steps. First, updating the input image table, solving the ladder logic, and third, updating the output status. Each instruction requires a specific execution time which depends on the instruction time and the processor clock frequency. There are basically two primary scan patterns which are used by PLC. First, the horizontal scan by rung method, and second is the vertical scan by the column method. The Allen Bradley PLC uses the horizontal scan, which examines the instructions from top left to the bottom right rung by rung, while the Modicon PLCs uses the vertical scan, examining the instructions column by column and page by page. Understanding the scan pattern is crucial to avoid the programming errors and ensure the proper operation. So that's all for the today's class. So in this class we have studied about the PLC programming, about the various manufacturers and the softwares available in the market. Okay, then we have also studied about the addressing, how to address memory organization of the PLC, and how to do the digital and the analog addressing. Okay, and in the next session we will explore more in detail about the PLC programming. Okay, and we will also study about the binary concept and the logical operations, and we will learn how to convert that Boolean logic operation in the ladder logic form. Thank you. Have a nice day. Happy learning.